All right. Welcome back to Beyond Basic Phonics English Morphology 101. We're going to do lesson 27. Romance suffixes, our third one, and then there's one more before we start our roots. So this has got two categories, A and B. So we're going to look at A first. Now, all three of these spellings mean the same thing: action, state of being, result. Okay. So number one, we have tion. Notice the ti makes the s sound, and we have the respelling as in the dictionary here, and the upside down e is called the schwa sound. It's actually a short, kind of a short, double short u sound, shun. And so we have vacation. Notice the two a's are long in the open syllables. Vacation, the state of being vacant or out on vacation. Next, we have distraction, closed syllables, short vowels. When you're trying to pay attention, somebody's talking, you can't. That's a distraction. We have construction, and we've had con means with, and struck means to build. So construction is the state or action of building something. Then we have subtract, and track means to pull, which we'll study that, and then sub means under. So subtraction is to take the number, make it smaller, and addition, add meaning to, addition means to make it bigger. Next we have direction, the I in an open syllable is long, direction, what direction are you going? Expedition, let's go on a hunting expedition. Nutrition, and notice the U there is long at the end of the syllable. Repetition, that's not an E there, that's a schwa or a short vowel. Repetition, like you repeat something, say it more than once. Partition is you put something into parts, like divide a room with a curtain. Ignition in your car, the electrical system. Notification. Notice these two long vowels, O and A. Notification. Again, they're in open syllables. They're the vowel at the end of the syllable, so it's going to be long, generally. Then we have detention. And again, we got the long vowel there. At school, he was in detention. He misbehaved. They made him stay after school. Then you have multiplication, and I want to emphasize that A right there is long at the end of a syllable. Usually the A will be long in front of the tion. Multiplication, 2 times 2 is 4. Now we're going to do the same sound, but we're going to spell it with an SI. And this is, again, the shun sound. So we have compression, and this M is one of those chameleon prefixes. It was an N that changed to an M in front of the bilabial P. Next we have depression. Depression is a feeling of sadness. Usually it goes away. Sometimes it doesn't. Depression. Next we have expression. Are you good? Can you express yourself? Do you have good expression? Impression. You try to make an impression on somebody, and again we have a chameleon prefix. That's actually IN, and the N becomes an M in front of that bilabial P. Then we have progression. When you make progression, you're moving ahead instead of backwards. Confession, that's when you tell the truth. Confess, did you do it or not? Yes, I'll make a confession. Also, to confess can mean to state your belief. Admission. Add, if you remember, means to, and miss we haven't had yet, but it means to send. So admission. You get a admission that lets you go into the concert. Compulsion, when you feel compelled to do something. Pull means to pull, and calm, which we'll learn later. And calm, again, is another one of those chameleon prefixes. The N, it means with, so the N changes to an M. Isn't this great stuff we're learning? Next one, repulsion. Repulsion means to push away. Apprehension. Apprehension can be, it can be a state of worry. You have apprehension, you're worried about something. But apprehension can also mean that you understand something. You apprehend it. Comprehension, again, we got another one of those chameleon prefixes. That's an N that's assimilated to the following P, comprehension. And we try and teach comprehension, so when you read, you can understand what you're reading. And I believe learning all of these prefixes and suffixes and roots is going to boost your comprehension to much higher levels. That's what our basic goal is, not just to memorize and become experts in all this stuff, but rather to apply it in our everyday reading to understand and enjoy what we're reading. Next, we have tension. If you're under tension, you feel stress, or a spring can be under tension. And then you have transmission. And trans has miss means to send, as you're going to learn, and trans means across. So transmission is taking energy from one place to another, or a message. You can have a radio transmission. You can have a transmission in your car. So many meanings. Now the third one's tricky, because it means the same thing as the first two, and it has the same spelling as the second one. But because of the words around it, that SI is now going to be voiced, okay? So it's going to say, instead of shh, you turn the voice on, it says zh, jun. So we have an invasion, and of course, in means invasion, so they're coming into your country. Conclusion, you can draw a conclusion and hear the zh in there, the ZH. Exclusion, that means you're not included, you're excluded. Or you could be included. This means that you can come in, and X means you are out. Preclusion. Then we have intrusion. And I'm sure you've heard of that. An intruder comes into your house, that's an intrusion. Protrusion, when something sticks out. I think like when somebody's going down the road and they got something on the bed of their truck that's sticking out to the side that could actually hit somebody. That's a protrusion. Then we have evasion. Maybe there's an accident and you see it up ahead and you were able to stop or slow down and you evade it. That's an evasion. You were to evade the accident. Also, evasion is going to be where that you avoid answering somebody and give an evasive answer. Erosion is when the ground is eroding, raining, and the soil's all going away. Explosion, that's a boom, a bomb or something exploding. And then we have confusion. I'm sure you have experienced confusion sometime in your life. Division, when you divide things. So again, notice it's an action, division. I haven't said it as much as I should probably, but state, action, state of being, or result. Then we have revision, a state of being revised. Aversion, the state of being averted. Subversion, when somebody's trying to do something and somebody messes you up, they subvert what you're trying to do. Television, people watch too much of that. Corrosion, like on a chain on your bicycle. And by the way, you can see that chameleon prefix right there. Supervision, when somebody's supervising what you're doing. Supervision, the state of being supervised. Okay, now we go to B. A-B-L-E, I-B-L-E means can be done. Well, that makes sense because you know what it means to be able. So we have capable. That means the person is able to do it. Or you can be incapable. And here, in has the meaning not, as we studied before. Incapable. That means not capable of doing it. Notice here again, in this A right here is long. Then we have dependable. Can people depend on you? If not, then you are, unfortunately, undependable. Un here meaning not. Defendable. The castle has a moat around it, so it's defendable. People can't get in. It's got high walls. Curable. That's a good thing. If you get sick and the doctor has medicine, you can get well, so you're curable. It can be done. But if you put in front of it, that means you cannot be cured. Viable means that it's a possibility, And unviable means it's not a good possibility. Reliable means you can depend on it, you can trust it. And unreliable, notice how I've put these together here, it means that you cannot trust it. Then we have workable, it's a workable arrangement. That's a good idea, it'll work. Or we have an unworkable arrangement. Nope, that won't work. It's not able to work. So we can see how these prefixes, suffixes, and roots all work together to help us get to the meaning of these words. Ible is defensible. We had defendable. Now we got defensible. You can defend the castle, and notice the E at the end of a syllable. On the other hand, if it's indefensible, then the castle's not well protected and you won't be able to defend it. Reversibles, like a jacket that you can turn inside and out, wear it either way and maybe have a different color. But if it's not reversible, it is unreversible. We have sensible. That's a sensible idea. It's a good idea. Yeah, that'll work. Then we have convertible, like a car can have two different, or the top will go up or down, so it can be convertible. It can be a car with a top or without a top just by perhaps pushing a button. Edible means it's good to eat. It's not going to make you sick, but if it's inedible, you need to stay away from it. Credible means you can believe it. And incredible, in this case, in both of these words means not, so it means not creditable. You cannot believe it. Horrible. The food tasted horrible. We didn't like it. Then we have possible. That means that it's possible. Or if we use this, remember this, look at this chameleon prefix, impossible, but we pronounce it impossible, then it's not possible. Here we have visible. We can see it, right? We're able to see it. And invisible means you cannot see it. And again, we have the prefix meaning not. Audible, you can hear it. Inaudible, it's so quiet that you can't hear it. And I bet, did you know that dogs can hear sounds that people can't hear? So you can have a dog whistle that you can blow and your dog will hear it, but nobody else. Then we have terrible. It was a terrible, incredibly terrible day. Forcible. Forcible entry means that they actually broke into the house instead of knocking on the door. Feasible, that means it's possible. And unfeasible means it's not possible. All right, thank you for bearing with me. That was one of our longer lessons, and I kind of rushed it a little bit there to get done. But the main thing, remember, tion, sion is action, state of being, or result. And able and ible means it can be done. All right, now we'll go to the practice sentences with lesson 28.